Welcome back to A Sight for Sore Eyes. It's good to see you again. This week, instead of going out in the cold and the snow to do a video, I decided I was going to stay here in the studio. What I've done is I've taken my N70 Nikon film camera and I used it to photograph all of my other older film cameras. Well, they're all old, I guess. But I've set up a little really temporary informal studio, and it was a good idea to do this. It's something I've been wanting to do for a long time. And this was the best time to do it when it's 3 foot of snow and -6 degrees outside. Yeah, it's a good time, a real good time just to stay inside. So before I talk too much about what I've done here, let's take a look at the pictures. There's 19 of them, I believe. So let's get right into it. I hope you enjoy this. I think you will. They came out pretty doggone nice, I think. Here we go. Well, what you think about that? Some of those are pretty sweet pictures, at least in my humble opinion. I'm real happy with them. It took a little longer than I had planned on to do those pictures. Shooting film is quite a lot slower process than digital by far. I mean, the time I set up the shots and made the shots and developed the film and then scanned it, and oh yeah, it took most of the day yesterday is spent doing that. But I'm really happy with those pictures, and yeah, I couldn't ask for more. Now, I gotta be truthful here now. After I developed the film, I was patting myself on the back because it came out much better than my previous 30 attempts at developing film had come out. And I think I figured out the problem has to do with Fixer. Yeah, I'll talk about it some other time. But anyway, as I was just sitting there patting myself on the back, and after I looked at the negatives, I sat down and waiting for it to dry, and I was sitting there thinking about the pictures, and then it occurred to me that, after all that time looking around my studio to make sure I didn't leave one of my cameras out, and positive I hadn't, yeah, I remembered I'd never even looked or thought about photographing my Mamiya Universal Medium Format film camera. How could I just forget that camera? I don't know. Anyway, I'd already done the film and I wanted to have that camera in this video, so I used a digital camera to make the photograph of that one. I used my Nikon D600. And while I was at it, I thought, you know what? I don't have a picture of my Nikon N70 because that's one I was using to make all the other photographs with. So I photographed it also with my Nikon D600. So those two images are actually digital. Everything else was shot in black and white film. And yeah, I'm pretty pleased with the whole works. You know, this was a simple project, and I think if you were looking for something to do, you don't have a lot of money to spend or something like that, you should try to do this. Something similar to this. Set up something inside where you got a little room and just photograph it and just practice. Practice with your cameras. I don't care if it's digital or a film camera. Just practice and see what you get. Try it. You're not going to get better or improve your skills without practice. You just got to do that. With this, I didn't have to spend any money to do this project of these cameras. I took a piece of flat, little heavy paper and propped it up, get one end up against the wall and the other end I laid on top of my printer. And I set the cameras on that and photographed it. Here's the paper. This is an old sheet of photo paper that I've had for many years, and I don't even know what it is, and I don't know what side is up on it. And it's just been laying around. So I took this piece of paper, it's 17 inches by 22 inches. It could have been a little bigger. I was kind of pushing the envelope here when I used this. But you take one end of this paper and kind of make a gentle curve like that and up against the wall, and then you put your camera on the flat end down here that's going to be on a countertop or something like that. That's all I did. That's all I did here on this project. That was my background. This piece of paper was my background for every picture you just looked at. It worked really good. If you're not gonna get better if you don't practice, and you're not gonna feel accomplished if you don't practice, I guess. I don't know. This was practice for me because I wanted to see two things. I wanted to see if I could make decent black and white photographs that would be comparable to digital using film. And also, I'm trying out my Godox flash system on my film camera, and it works. It works pretty good. I didn't have much messing around to do with it. I got a few little tweaks to make on it, but it worked good. That's what I used for all these. For lighting, I used these Godox flash units. And now, if you're using a film camera and you're saying, well, I can't afford to do that with film. I can't afford just to experiment with film. I mean, because it's costly. It costs a lot of money. If you got a digital camera, no problem. Set it up and do all your practicing with the digital camera. Match the settings you're going to have on your film camera. Match them and keep shooting your digital and looking at your images until you get about what you want. You don't have to have fancy flash units. You could probably use window light. You could use overhead lighting. If it's black and white, that doesn't really matter because You don't have to worry about color balance or color cast. Just shoot it in black and white to start with, and use your digital as a, I guess, a light meter or a flash meter. I mean, it's easy to do, and then you just match your settings that you've got the best exposure with, match those on your film camera. And when you go to take your pictures, if you're taking one picture, bracket it, one or two stops either side of the normal exposure you got, just to see what you get. And just experiment. You guys just experiment with your cameras. It's really important to do that. You learn how to use your cameras. You learn where the settings are. You learn what you can do and what you can't do. Just experiment. You got nothing to lose, especially if you're doing it digital and then transferring that to your film camera. You don't got nothing to lose, actually. It's fun, and it makes you feel accomplished when you get it right, and you will get it right. Just practice. Anyway, so that's what I got to say about that. Now, as usual, I selected one of those pictures, one of those photos that you just looked at. I selected one of them and printed it out on my Epson P800 printer on 13 by 19 photo paper. And boy, I was really surprised with what came out of that printer. I was pleasantly surprised. So now we're going to take a look at that picture, and I'll hold it up closer to the camera. Now this is all film. This is not a digital image. This is a film image taken by me and processed by me and scanned by me. Woo-hoo-hoo. Anyway, here it is. I think you're gonna like it. Look at that. Oh, wow, I was so surprised. Now, I didn't do anything to that on the computer to make that background disappear. That's a white background. And it's such a unique picture. This would be, if a camera collector or, this is gonna look good. I think I might print out a few and just hang them here in my studio, frame them. They're gonna look nice, these pictures of cameras like this, these old film cameras. I'm really excited about it, actually. So on this picture, let me give you some specs here. It was taken with the Nikon N70 film camera. I used a Nikon 300mm f4 lens. I used a Arista Ultra black and white film, ISO 400. My exposure on this was 1/60th of a second at f/22. And I used the two Godox AD200 flash heads and my softbox. Pretty picture, all black and white. Now, the reason I used f/20 and f-stop f/22 was for depth of field. These pictures are sharp, front to back, on almost all of them. I was really surprised at how good a depth of field I got with the 300mm lens at f/22. And I used a tripod, and I was real careful composing, and I was real careful actually taking the picture, making sure the focus was on. I didn't use manual focusing. I just used autofocus on this with that N70, so it did a real good job. I'm happy with them, as I said, and I think if you tried a project like this, you would be so pleased when it comes out. I've done a little bit of this before. I mean, it's not new to me, too new. Well, it's a little new, but yeah. Anyway, so I encourage all of you to just, if you don't want to go outside, set up a little mini studio in your home. And don't spend any money. Just use what you have. use whatever camera you have. And if you need a background, scrounge around till you find something. Just use whatever you can find in a hand, and just have fun with it. That's That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to have fun. Anyway, so that's my video for today, and I hope you guys enjoyed it and enjoyed the pictures. I will be back, I think, Saturday with some digital photos of some sort. Don't even know what they're going to be yet. But like I said in the previous video, I'm trying to do film on Wednesdays and digital on Saturdays. We'll see how long I can keep that up. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful weekend and get all your Christmas shopping done, because yeah, you're running way out of time here. Anyway, well, I'll talk to you guys later, and thanks for coming by, and I hope you all enjoyed whatever projects you have in photography. Take care.